Greetings, traveler.
All right, chat, we have got a game for you guys today. It was played by Jeef, but it was in a prep tournament. So we have a huge event coming up early next year, which is not far off because we're in December right now. And because of that, our boys, EU, NA, are doing practice lobbies together every weekend. So you can catch that on their live streams. And we are watching Jeef's POV here because he got quite a crazy game in one of those. Games. So we see Sire with temporal tampering. That is cheating. All right, so report Jeef for cheating. That's all right. Jeef is big here. Yeah, here he is. I feel like I did him dirty with that snapshot. That wasn't my intention. All right. Anyways, Jeef has to spend 75 gold for temporal tampering. Now, why do I say, oh, that's kind of cheating? Temporal tampering in an elemental pirate lobby essentially gives you infinite money. And it doesn't even have to be an elemental pirate lobby that much, but you prefer it to be an elemental pirate lobby because you want to play ballers when you have this quest. That means that you stay on tier 2 and you use the extra spell cast on oil to have a lot of money. You can use it on coin for more money. You can use it on the reroll thing to get 4 free rerolls instead of 2. And you can very, very quickly see how fast this quest makes the baller strategy a lot better. So it's kind of like Lubber. It's kind of like Lubber, but you don't even need Lubber, right? Because with double spellcast, you're going to go infinite money at some point because you'll just have so many oils. If you type one human being, which is always happy with infinite money, it will be Jeef. A rare thing for a human to be pleased with infinite resources. I love that too, of course. So you see Jeef right now, he's doing a little bit of cycle stuff. He grabbed that gambler. He's using some stuff here. He might want to grab that spell here as well to fish for another baller or maybe another gambler. Yeah, I got another baller. So right now, Jeef is just trying to not take damage while he's getting his quest online. And one of the best ways of doing that is already getting some ballers on the board, getting a few buffs going. Because the more health he can keep, obviously, okay, so he hit Shenvala Buddy, which is insane. And you see that he almost reflexively snapped it because that would have been perfect, right? But River Skipper is infinite money. Like legit infinite money. Because on tier 2, you can buy Gambler, and that means you buy it for 0 gold effectively, and then you get a 1-drop. That 1-drop is a minimum of 1 gold, but with River Skipper and the Money Pirate in the game, you might actually make 2 gold off it. Every TAD is free and might also make you more money, because you're getting that 1-drop again. Shell Collector is free. Every time he sells a baller, he gets 1 extra gold. So this is, if only just to complete this quest faster, this River Skipper is quite ridiculous. Because you have to keep in mind that once he has achieved true infinite from the oils, it doesn't really matter if he's rolling extra ballers with the Shenvala Buddy too much. Now it is useful, right? But if he just has infinite money, he can keep rolling and buy ballers anyway. So using the River Skipper to go infinite faster seems like, oh, Hooktail is like perfect. So you see that he's also putting these Divine Shields on the board. That's a pretty common strategy when you're playing this baller strategy. You essentially want to buff things that are worth buffing, and when you're on tier 2, this golden pirate is one of the best things because it doesn't accidentally triple either, which is a little bit annoying if you have 2 huge shields and then they combine. It's not the worst thing if you have a replacement, but oftentimes you don't have a replacement and it's just a bit weird. Now you have 1 fewer units. All right, yeah, this is, yeah, he's just picking very quickly. There's like some minor things, like you could have picked a gambler instead of the shell, but it doesn't really matter. So my expectation here is that he is just going to continue using this River Skipper to farm as much oil as he can. And then once he has the oil, he probably doesn't even need to keep the River Skipper anymore. Simply because infinite plus more is still just infinite, right? So that's probably what we're going to see Jeef look for right now. Jeef is probably going to gauge just how much money he has when he has cast enough oils and when he can sell that river skipper to add another shield, or maybe he triples into another hooktail or something, because with the quest, the hooktail was such a nice triple because every time he casts a spell, he casts it twice. That means that the hooktail gives like double attack to the board. Very, very silly stuff. So it looks like he is trying to triple it because like he has infinite cash and it's still early on, so that seems fine, right? So he can triple that mech now and then find the triple to maybe hit the hooktail because it's still so early. Super fair. Yeah, but this is quite silly. So he can buy that discover or cast 1-drop minion and it is free. But at some point, free is no longer free because your main resource is time and not gold. So that's what's happening right now. Jeef is limited by time, not gold. You see that he has 29 seconds left and he's still on 19 gold. So he definitely doesn't have to buy every spell. He is looking for more oils to go infinite as fast as possible without the skipper, because that's going to speed up his turn a lot. Like if he has oils instead of skipper, he doesn't have to spend a lot of his animations selling 1-drops out of his hands. Now that is really a first world kind of problem. It's like, oh, what kind of infinite would I like, right? I want the infinite where I have to do less work, right? So yeah, I mean, most games you do not end up with infinite resources, right? You might get close or this, but truly infinite resources, meaning that you never run out of money, only out of time. That's definitely not an every game occurrence. Now, the more higher level players you watch, the more often that does happen, but definitely not every game. And then of course ballers, right? So something to look out for now as well is what is he going to get from the greater time warp? Something that excuse me. Oh, Shell Collector gives him coin and it's tavern coin now. I forgot that. Yeah, Shell Collector is really good. He double casts the coin because they changed that to be a tavern spell. Oh my god, that's so good. The all right, let's 1 second. Yep, let's do that. Let's do a different choice of words next time. All right, so still fishing for that other hooktail, I believe, right, with these triples, just because it's so good with the quest. But we are looking for oil, I would say, mainly oil and ballers, chat. Oil and ballers, oil and ballers. Let's go. Yeah, this is so silly. I wonder when he's going to take his first damage, if he is going to take damage, because, well, from this point, I suppose. I don't know if Sire had a bit more armor. He might have lost the fight very, very early. He's so fast, yes. This comes from also just completely understanding what is worth and what is not worth, meaning that he doesn't have to waste time thinking about it. I think that the spell right now that is putting the locked minions in his hand, he's probably going to stop buying that because it is really messing with him here. Like, it's a bit annoying. Here we see Sliders. Sliders looking at this board, be like, okay, I see how it is. I guess I'm playing for second. I see how it is. Yeah. That's the cool thing here, right? The cool thing is that he is playing against... Ooh, that is another hooktail. That works. Okay, that works. We might see him sell the skipper here, honestly. He might not be infinite just yet, but he's definitely close. So yeah, okay. Because he had some big shields already, right? So now without the skipper, he has to be a little bit more selective. So it means that he probably does want to buy every spell like a lasso that makes him extra money. And it also means that if he gets a lot of oils this turn, he might actually not be infinite because oil doesn't contribute any money to the current turn. However, that's fine. That just means that he's one turn a little less. And then because he played so many oils, he's going to have enough. And that's totally fine, right? The quests alone is enough to go infinite eventually. And it doesn't take too long. Whee! Man, this is so much fun to do, chat. I would heavily recommend this, by the way. Okay, he's going to switch into the Death Rattle mech, maybe to just play around Poison Scam. That is a very good shout. Yes, it is a Murloc lobby. So playing Ballers in a Murloc lobby is weaker because you do suffer from not really being able to tech very well if you're on this tier. If you're on tier 2, you can't really make the adjustments you would normally make versus a... Ooh, he is kind of running out of money here. Yeah, he's going to buy that too, which is going to leave him a little dry for this turn. But I think it's fine. Like, he might lose some gold. He might lose... Ooh, the lasso here is great. Just not the Annoyatron, please. Nice. Oh my god. This Hooktail, Time Warp Hooktail, might have been the best thing we could have hit. Honestly, chat. Yeah, 24 seconds. It's fine. It's fine. Like, he's not... Like, he's still doing things. Like, we're fine. We're fine. Yeah, even if it feels like he lost a little bit of stuff this turn because he couldn't quite go as fast because he didn't have that much money, this is still amazing. Casting it on the mech. Yeah. That's fine. He also cast some oils this turn. He has a scout in his hand for extra cash. We're probably okay. He missed the Shell Collector. He might have just not wanted it, right? Because Shell Collector doesn't make him money, I think, right? It's just gold neutral, and it's a Hooktail buff. So when you have this much to do, sometimes you will skip things that are gold neutral. Any idea why I chose mech? Because it has a death rattle. I just did my whole explanation. Maybe I didn't finish my explanation, I don't know. But getting the death rattle allows you to play around Venom, right? You can use the 1/1 to knock Venoms off. Yeah, he is running out of money simply because he has to buy Ballers. I wonder if he's supposed to skip some Ballers and just play spells. That might be it, actually, what he is doing wrong here. Yeah, if he's doing something wrong, right? Like, let's be real here. Yeah, he's gonna use it on this elemental, so he can use Chef on the other elemental? No, okay. Yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. Can also Chef in the shop if he finds something. Yeah, that's fine. Wait, the second one? Oh, he targeted the Frostballer, right. So I would say this turn is sort of the first turn where he is suffering quite a bit from not having that River Skipper, where infinite money would have been nicer. But I think he can also still achieve that simply by not buying all the Ballers he sees and focusing a little bit more on just getting free gold and oils. And then he's getting to the point where it's just over. Yeah, he could have cycled a coin for more Hooktail buffs, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, pretty silly. Yeah, JJ was in the practice as well, so... I think JJ is also going to be in the big qualifier, so... What quests? Oh, this is Temporal Tampering. It casts his spells twice. Yeah. I wonder, I mean, cycling Ballers, it's not going to be bad, right? At the very least. But I wonder if he could do more if he is a little bit more selective on hitting the spells instead, but I don't know. You could also roll a bunch of spells you don't want, right? Like the Pointy Arrow. Yeah, there's not enough good spells, I think, to actually justify rolling past Ballers. You would need the rolling spell, you would need coin. There's no more careful investment on tier 2. They moved that to tier 3. Kind of stealthily, I would say. I think if Jeef was given the opportunity, I think he would have kept River Skipper for another turn or two instead of a Divine Shield, just to get a little bit more money, a little bit more oil, and then kick it. Because he can still play quite aggressively with River Skipper, where he does not have to buy every Gambler, he does not have to buy every Shell Collector, although the coin is quite nice with the Hooktail buff. He could just use the River Skipper to get more money off his things like Chef's Choice and just use it if he's ever threatening to run out of money, and then use it to farm more oil. Did he go into this game and say I'm balling? Oh yeah, yeah. When he got temporal tampering, he decided he was gonna go baller. Very likely, right? I didn't hear the dialogue, but it's sort of inevitable, where you're going to hit it if you want to. If you have temporal tampering and you want to baller, you're going to be able to baller. Seeing the annoyed faces on the opponents is peak. Yeah, that was a great great touch by the editor. So we see that Jeef right now, he's on turn 12, he's in the top 4. So he's essentially saying that it's a little too close to the end to be buying those oils now, and he's just going to focus on money for this turn and ballers. I couldn't resist. If I'm playing temporal tampering, but I wouldn't have sold the river skipper as early, even though it was, you know, it's highly likely to be correct any time I'm watching a Jeef game, right? You have to keep that in mind. I can say what I sort of would have liked to do, but that doesn't mean that whatever Jeef did wasn't correct. Although again, I think that he might have wanted to keep it like one extra turn or so. You know, that being said, I think it's just more fun if I can buy all the oils, right? So I will also I will factor in the fun next to the optimal line for sure. He also has this chef in the hand, and he's like not targeting droplet, but I guess that's because he doesn't really care too much. Like he kind of wants to eliminate an elemental, so I guess he would want to roll Dune Dweller and target Dune Dweller so he doesn't get that one, which gives him more chance to get something like Baller or Elemental. Oh my god. Yep, pretty good. Zorgo also balling, I think. We see some spores being added. Yeah. I think Zorgo is also doing some kind of baller, but then with Nala. And like he went to 3 to buy spores or so. I'd have to see the Zorgo POV, but that board looks like he stayed low tier. Not 100% sure, but it looks like it. Can confirm that he did. Oh, that he did want to keep the skipper one more turn? Okay. But it's, I mean, this is an amazing position, right? Like, this is a much better position than you would be in if you would be playing a normal baller game on Chromie or so. Because he hit temporal tampering, so he gets way more money from that. And he has this time warp hooktail, which is wonderful. A baller is still better than the money though, right? I think so. Whee! Yeah, we're cycling Gambler out of habits, but there isn't that much reason to do it anymore. There's no more River Skipper. Holding Surf in the hand for the anti-scam is not bad. I could see him wanting to do that, yeah. Yeah. That's similar to why he chose the mech over the Divine Shield Pirates. If he has Surf and Surfs, he can give his minions death rattles, which then makes it more likely that they're going to bump into a Spore or into a Bow Spitter and remove the Venom, and then keep the bigger minions safe. So that's quite nice. Oil to end on for the boys. Come on. Oh, Lasso stealing that 1/3 pirate would be so good. Fine. Never lucky, chat. Sometimes never lucky. Yeah, he can play Surf because then he can apply the death rattle and then just apply it again next turn and sell it. Hey, Butts McGee. That's awesome to hear, man. Appreciate that. You're trying to think of a situation where he loses, it would have to be Scam. If the opponent isn't bigger, then yes. Scam is definitely how you would try to beat this. Blaster to remove the shields and Scam, but it would have to be base skill. It's very difficult to scam this kind of a board. You'd have to do some really proper base skill stuff. You need the golden Bow Spitter, 2 regular Bow Spitters, Blaster, enough base skills to pull all that stuff, double Leroy, double Thrasher. Or you could run double taunted Thrasher with Bluesy's Siren, but that is tricky because you kind of need to blaster his shields away, but then you blaster your Thrasher shields away, so that gets weird. Because for those of you who don't know, there is a really, really toxic combo right now where you can have 2 taunted Thrashers, and they have Venomous and Shield. And because they're already... so they have Wind Fury, and they don't lose Wind Fury during the combat. But they can lose Venom, and they can lose Shield. So when you have a Golden Bluesy Siren, and you attack... You cast 2 Deep Blues, I believe, right? So casting 2 Deep Blues then gives those Thrashers their Venom and their Shield back. So you can have 2 taunted Thrashers and then Bluesy Siren and just refresh the Thrashers the whole time. It's very, very toxic. So it's like Holy Mackerel back in the day where you would poison the Mackerel and taunt it and then just refresh the shield, refresh the shield, refresh the shield. So very, very nasty. I don't think that should be possible simply because my philosophy for Scam is that Scam should be able to go 1 for 1, but never 2 for 1. Or realistically 2 for 1, right? Sometimes you might have a Divine Shield Thrasher that kills a thing and then kills a token. That's not really 2 for 1. I'm talking about a Scam unit legit killing 2 big units. Yeah, we see Good Dammit here being quite entertained as well by this board. So Good Dammit, other like really, really high level EU player. We see him on stream sometimes when he's in my lobbies. Very, very strong. But yeah, so my take on Scam is 1 for 1 is fine, 2 for 1 is a problem. So Reborn Leroy, that's a problem. Reborn Maxna, that's a problem. Thrasher regaining the Venom, that's a problem. Again, in my opinion, right? Because Scam is okay if it just helps you kill one of the opponent's big units. But if running the Scam unit is better than running the big unit, that's where it becomes extremely unfun. Because then you could be having a good game, you could be high rolling, and you say, it is still just better for me to run the 2 for 1 Scam unit than the big unit. And that's not, you know, that's no fun, right? Absolutely no fun. It was a good shop to use Lasso on, but it's fine, doesn't really matter. So we see Jeef still... okay, yes, that's triple. We see Jeef still balling, so I'm not sure what the stats look like on Zorgo's board. Zorgo is playing the Murazant. Excuse me. So I'm not sure if Jeef still cares about the stats or if he's doing it for the funsies, still cycling ballers. Because there is the argument to just level and maybe collect a Leroy or 2, maybe Mutinous something, and use your money in that regard. But he doesn't know, I guess, if Zorgo is still doing some kind of scaling here. So it's probably the safest play to still add some type of scaling. Okay, we see the taunt here on the Cyclone and then some buffs to make it a little bit more relevant. Oh, that's so perfect. It actually has enough damage here to kill that Venom. Yeah, we see some scaling on Zorgo's board, but definitely not enough. Yeah, this is a really good Scam setup, right? You can see this. So, I did mention the... excuse me. I did mention that it would have to be base skill, summoning like Golden Bile, but it's just so tough because Jeef is, you know, essentially top elite level. So trying to scam an elite player is very difficult because they just know what beats them and then they preemptively play around it. So Jeef started playing around scam on like turn 6 or 7 when he started playing these mechs instead of pirates. So if your opponent already knows what's going to beat them on turn 6 or 7 and they're already trying to avoid that, that's tough. Also, a really nice touch here by the editor to add Zorgo's board to the top so we can see what Zorgo is trying to do to adjust here. So Zorgo has the cleave, but the cleave is not even big enough to really trade. That's the issue here. Avalanche on the skipper, maybe. Then we have 3000 damage. That's something that I could see. Definitely want to try to find another Leroy. Okay, he's just like selling the cleave here. Because he, I guess, doesn't have the Avalanche and prefers to have the money from the River Skipper to find more scam. Yeah. He has Bluesy Siren in his hand. So he is thinking about the Taunted Thrasher strategy here. Probably has some spells in his hand here to trigger that second Thrasher. So we see that he values the River Skipper over the Cleave, and that definitely took him a while. He was debating that. He's thinking, if I keep my River Skipper, I keep my source of economy, and I make it more likely that I find the setup I need to taunt these two Thrashers and maybe get the repeat value. Now we do see just a really man, this is so well set up by Zorgo here, because base skill has the advantage that it can summon extra things. So if you look at Zorgo's board, let's actually rewind for just a second, because this can be quite overwhelming, especially as a new player. When we look at Zorgo's board, we see Leroy, that's 2 kills, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because this is gonna get venomous from this thing. So 7 things can be killed, which is already his entire board. And then inside this base skill, there's even more venomous. So what Jeef is trying to do with this Surf and Surf and with the Divine Shields and with the Death Rattles on the mechs is he is trying to hit these venomous units before they hit his big minions. And you can see by the win rates here that the win rate actually shifted to 29% only. So Zorgo having that second Leroy, having that second Thrasher, having the 2 venomous in his hand with the golden venomous on the board is a premium scam. We also see the Brucon hero power, right? That's the biggest one, right? Sorry, I'm just not mentioning the biggest one. The Brucon hero power is what really shifted it. So now that but still, without the other venoms, he doesn't get there, right? But the Brucon hero power makes it insane. So now that Jeef knows that he has the Brucon hero power, what is he going to do here? He's picking up a Cleave, so maybe looking for Avalanche now? He's staying on tier 3, and I do believe Avalanche is a 3. He's probably going to spam as many Surf and Surfs as he can get his hands on. So it's going to be quite a funny thing where... okay, another Cleave. He did find Avalanche, yeah. Okay, so that's what it's going to be. Now that the Divine Shield is gone, because there's a Brucon hero power, Jeef says, okay, well, these Divine Shield minions are just normal minions now. And if they're normal minions, I would much rather have a Cleave. So by adding Cleaves onto the board, hopefully rolling another Avalanche to make 2 big Cleaves, or just goldening the Cleave, he could kill 2 or 3 of the scam units instead of just trading 1 for 1. So really cool as well by Jeef to not really miss a beat, to not panic, to not over level and waste all his money, because he is on 17. He could technically die here, right? Probably not, because with scam a lot of the units do trade 1 for 1, so they do die and they're no longer on the board. But very impressive by Jeef to say, okay, don't panic, level to 3, look for Avalanche, make some Cleaves, buy all the Surf and Surfs I can get. Did not get the second Avalanche and did not get the Golden Wildfire, so excuse me, I suspect we're just going to see that Wildfire sit in his hand for another turn if necessary. Now comes the mind game of where do I put this Cleave? Because I want this Cleave to not hit a Divine Shield. Okay, he bumped off the shield, which is nice. And if he's lucky, the Cleave actually goes right here. Actually, it doesn't matter, right? Right or left. Left might have been better, actually, because then he could kill a Leroy. Yeah. But you see that his win rate shifted drastically. So very, very well done by Zorgo to put himself in a position where he was favored against this board. Now, he did get a little lucky on the Brucon hero power. However... very, very nice adaptation by Jeef in reply to that. Now, because Jeef is on tier 3 and it's a Surf and Surf, we see that he's actually not dealing lethal. Okay. Does he buy the other Cleave? Yes, for another Avalanche, I think so. So looking for an Avalanche. He's going to skip the Careful Investment because it's likely going to be last fight. So then that's just -1 gold. That's not good. He's using the Lasso here because he might steal the Pirates, and that gives him an extra 2 gold. So yeah, found the other avalanche. So now we can avalanche on top of the other cleave. So probably gonna see him avalanche his Divine Shield Pirates, I believe, or the Hooktail, one of the two. He's likely not going to get rid of the mechs because the mechs provide him with the death rattles. More taunts in his hand so that he can protect his cleaves. That also makes sense. Okay, so he's gonna get rid of the Hooktail because he doesn't need the scaling. And by keeping the shield, maybe he gets lucky and he dodges the Brucon one. Man. Yeah, crazy work by Zorgo here. I wonder if Zorgo still has the Bluesy Siren in the hand. I haven't really paid attention because it's not capturing the whole hand. Sometimes the Bluesy Siren like pops up a little bit and I could see it before. So I don't know if he's still fishing for that golden Bluesy to try and get the double Thrasher value. Let's see if we have a taunt or untaunt here, maybe. Because we could see Zorgo's reply here. Maybe he taunts both the Thrashers and tries to avoid the cleave getting value. But then again, Jeef can also position here where he is putting that Spore first still. It's going to be the last ending unit here for Zorgo at base skill. Okay. Yeah, pretty silly stuff here. Like this is just, if you've ever just wondered what the highest level right now of Battlegrounds looks like, this is a good idea of, this is what happens when a good board meets a good board and they say, oh, okay, we actually going to have to do this, huh? This is what it sounds like. It's like, oh, we're gonna have to do this. Okay. All right. Jeef gets the mega cleave. That's likely gonna be it. Yeah. Yeah. Jeef only had 18% to lose here, but I want to really stress how insanely impressive this is by Zorgo to actually put himself in a position where he was favored, right? So yeah, silly stuff. Well played to both.